Welcome to T. Lokes, Tucson's local business podcast. I'm your host, L. Connor McEverly, and in each episode, we embark on a journey to connect with the passionate minds behind the businesses and nonprofits that make our community thrive. Join me as I sit down with the owners, visionaries, and change makers who pour their hearts into shaping the local landscape. We explore the challenges, triumphs, and unique journeys that define Tucson's business community. From the corner coffee shop to the innovative startups and impactful nonprofits, T. Lokes is your window into the diverse stories that make our city special. Tune in and get ready to get connected. This is T. Lokes. Howdy, folks, and welcome to T. Lokes, your Tucson local business podcast. I'm your host, L. Connor McEverly, and joining me via virtual chat today is the co-owner of Tandem American Eatery, a restaurant serving classic American fare with daily deals and Saturday brunch. It is my pleasure to introduce to the show today, Ayana Malarchik.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm really happy to have you. Thank you for being on the show. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I actually stopped into Tandem a couple days ago and got dinner with my wife. It was excellent, by the way.
Thank you very much.
I love me a cheeseburger, and so I had to come in and taste those gourmet burgers. And seriously, it was so delicious. So great stuff. I just wanted to start with that. But enough about my dinner experience for now. Why don't you tell me the story of Tandem American Eatery? What's your mission and what set you on it?
So the whole mission of Tandem American Eatery is that my husband and I both met in a restaurant here in town, and I've always kind of wanted to do a restaurant. And then when we were dating, I kept asking, hey, do you want to do a restaurant one day? And he's like, well, I like to cook, and so, we got married about 2016, and then in 2017, we got an opportunity to open the Outside Inn in Sierra Vista, which was like a small little restaurant.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we got our like feet wet on running a restaurant. We ran a restaurant together here in town for about 5 years, and he was he was sous chef. I started as a server, and then in 6 weeks I became a manager of that place. One of the 5 managers, and then the owner of that company let me do the payroll and help me do more management style. I had always been managing actually at a really young age. My first job managing was at 16.
Wow.
So I enjoy it, and I like to have good managers to work for, and I also want my employees to enjoy working with me. So with that said, we just decided that we'd go ahead and do a restaurant since, we've got their background. He's culinary trained in Scottsdale Institute. Nice. On Cordon Bleu, and he started kind of cooking at age 7 with his mom. And as he learned and went to other restaurants here in town, and back to Sierra Vista for a while, running the Outside Inn actually as their executive chef for a couple of years. And then he came back to Tucson and worked with other companies. And then when they asked our opportunity in 2017, we kind of said, well, I thought we'd wait till we were 40 to do it. And when we're a little bit more, but let's just go ahead and take the leap of faith and go ahead. So it's been working out for us. We really enjoy it. It has its ups and downs, but
yeah,
it's a running restaurant. It's not, I'd say, an easy feat. Everyone thinks it's I'm going to go play restaurant. It's like, no, you're not going to be playing restaurant, because either you're hanging out doing it or you're in it. And so since I have my degree in hospitality administration through NAU.
Nice.
I learned all the run house stuff, learning with other managers and other owners of companies here in town, 2 really good ones. And then he's learned a lot too. So we just kind of, what we've learned taking it and kind of trial and error, and it's kind of worked out for us. His food is really good, and all that passion is there, because at the end of the day, when you're a chef, you're an artist.
Truly.
So it's either you're going to be an artist and you really want to put out good food and you don't want it to slack, so you make things correctly every time, and that's how we keep things consistent. But the idea of Tandem is that we're just kind of both working together, and then it kind of all trickles down to, I always tell guests that it's more of you're just on the cycle of life. We run a business together, we run our home life together, we're kind of all going together. When something doesn't work, kind of off the bike, you just kind of have to keep going and get back on.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the front of house employees and the back of house employees, what we did not like seeing is having a chef, yelling and screaming at the server, and the server being yelled at by the guests, and they're in this in between of I'm trying to just get the food out for them. And so we kind of said, if we're going to be working together as a team, it's the front and the back. Everybody cannot be arguing about something over the littlest thing. You can't be getting upset and blowing up at one thing, because at the end of the day, it's just one day and you can move past it.
Totally.
And so everybody's just working as a team together. The bartender can't just make you a drink without having good food behind it. right?
Yeah.
The hostess has to make sure she's telling you the daily specials, or you don't hear about it, then you miss out. And like, hey, I just was there and I missed out on getting that great cheeseburger because I didn't know you guys were doing a special cheeseburger today.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where that's the mindset of it. It's just like everyone's just kind of working together, as quick as we can and trying to provide great food to the community.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, in terms of that atmosphere and that feeling of like collaboration, I felt it when I was sitting there. The hostess was like very attentive. The servers, like we had our main server, and then I believe like even the manager came by like from time to time, like helping out, and just like with the interactions between the servers as well. Yeah, I mean, and sorry, you gave me a lot to work with. So no, it's great. I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Hey, Tucson friends. Are you or someone you know a local Tucson business owner who's looking to expand their visibility, grow their brand, and engage more with their community? Well, I want to talk to you. Don't just be a listener. Come on the show and interview. Showcase your business. Tell us all about your story. Tell about the highs, the lows, and how you serve the Tucson community. We would love to hear what you have to say and hear the intricacies of your business. Humanize your brand, position yourself as a thought leader, and get in front of more eyes and ears. Click the link below and star on an episode. I look forward to talking with you. Now back to the show.
So you started in Sierra Vista, right?
Yeah. So we started in Tucson, actually here at Union. So that's where we met. My husband was our like kind of love story plays out there, where he was the sous chef and under Jack Tate, which is a really good chef as well. And then I went to go apply, and with Grant Kruger, who owns the Union Public House and that production of Reforma, we worked with him, and then Grant made me a manager. So we ran that company underneath Grant's, Grant's this amazing, brilliant business owner. So we worked with him, and we worked with Reforma together, and I learned how to like open a restaurant through that. All the companies I've ever worked for actually have started out as the first week of them opening. I was on the opening team of like 4 or 5 restaurants here in town.
Yeah.
Local and corporate. So I knew that background of it and having the schooling.
Totally.
But so yeah, we had moved to Yuma for a year, and because Patrick's brother was close to that area, and then we just said, I don't really like Yuma. It's quiet. I was working in another great owner. She had 3 bars. I was like, if she can do this, I think I can do this. I have a lot of skill set. And so we went to Sierra Vista. That's where we got our start of opening the restaurant. Sorry, long story short. We did start in Sierra Vista in 2017.
Yeah.
And then we moved into the Tandem name in 2019, right before the pandemic.
Yeah. And when did you come to Tucson?
We came back to Tucson in 2022, but I was pregnant at the time with our second child. So we took a year off and just that was kind of our COVID era, we say, where everyone else was during COVID staying at home, not doing anything. We were running a business and trying to keep it afloat during that time, and it kept going, So we took a year off and then bought our house here. And then after I had my second son, we decided to go ahead and start looking for a place that was kind of going to be a good fit for us. And this location on the east side was pretty much there, what we need to, and kind of had this dual side where you come in and have like a big area you can do parties and events, and this big bar area. In Sierra Vista, we had a fine dining area, and then we had a bar on the other side, which you could only get to from the hotel side. And then we did all their banquets. We helped them with banquets as well. So we were doing a lot on that company.
Yeah, seriously. And I mean, kudos to y'all for like making it through COVID, especially as like a restaurant industry. Like I know it's really tough for a lot of businesses, but for restaurants, particularly in that time as well.
We were blessed with the people in Sierra Vista. They were really good to us, and they came in a lot and, made us one of the number one places to eat. So that was very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to touch on something. So as I was hearing you speak, and also as I was like researching your guys' business, there's this emphasis that you have on scratch cooking, right? And, you mentioned like, that having these scratch made dishes really helps maintain consistency. Can you tell me a few of your, scratch made dishes, and in what ways does making it from scratch make it more consistent?
So we have all the recipes in place that Patrick does, and he takes the pride in it. We try to make sure that the kitchen employees also take pride in what they're making. Right now we make our bacon. Nice. So one of the things we do is we smoke and cure our bacon. Okay. And that process we started actually back in actually 11, when Patrick first started making it for Union. He was smoking and curing, and then in 2015 he won an award in Arizona as best bacon champion.
Wow.
So we kept that going, and it seems to be, I mean, it's always a hit. We always have to explain that it's thick cut bacon.
Yeah.
We still raise our short rib here as well. We make our ranch dressing. So our ranch dressing is a cilantro lime ranch dressing.
Nice.
So there's about the 6% of the community that doesn't like, sounds really soapy to them. But besides that, it's really good. We make our hot sauce. Our goal is to start bottling it here and getting it out in mass production of that. Basically, we make everything in the house. I mean, I could go through the list of it, but I mean, we make everything but our burger buns and like our breads. And we don't make our breads and we don't make our pasta. Everything else, all of our sauces are made here. We have a really good mushroom machete pasta, which I tell people it's like beef stroganoff. It's like that home cooking. So the idea is coming to a restaurant. It's like you're getting a chef level experience, but then you're getting that taste of like, hey, my grandma used to make this dish. My mom used to make this dish. If they were good cooks, right?
Yeah.
And so our all-American burger is kind of a play on the McDonald's burger, the Big Mac. It has like that Russian dressing in there. Yeah. And the melted onions, and then you're getting that flavors of that cheese too, but then you're having this big, huge, thick, burger.
Yeah.
Along with it.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, like, that was, because again, as I mentioned, I love burgers. And like, that was such a delicious burger. Like, from all the people, I have a lot to say. All right. But like, even from just like looking at the toppings, right? Like, I remember when the plate was set down in front of me, the tomatoes, they were like so red. You know what I mean? And I was like, this is a good tomato right here. Like, you can tell. And it, just the flavors all came together. And was that like a pickled onion on it too?
Yeah, we do pickled onion. And you don't see that often. No. If you put it into the burger, most people don't. It's like the garnish. People don't want to add it. But when you put it in there, you get this little like sweet and like vinegary taste too. And it works really well with the burger and all of the burgers it comes with. So, it's just about, we just try to also buy the best products available. And that's part of putting out a good plate of food. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to buy a tomato at Top Rotten because it's cheaper. Like, no, we buy the ripest tomatoes. We buy the freshest fruit that we need. Yeah. We don't try to serve anything that's already going. It's like, nope, it's fresh and good. And that's sort of how we keep things consistent.
Totally.
Over the years.
Totally. That makes a lot of sense. And I know, like, again, on your pages, like, you guys have a strong commitment to supporting local. And I guess I'm curious, like, where do you guys source most of your ingredients?
So our burger patty actually comes from Bureau Old Ranch, which is out of Sonoita. So it's about 55 miles from our location.
Wow.
We usually use Shamrock Foods as our main purveyor of foods. And they started here in Tucson actually as like a dairy farm.
Yeah.
And we have a good team of people that we work with Shamrock, and we learned a lot about the company. Patrick actually worked with them for a year in Yuma, so we learned a lot about just that industry and how that runs, and getting it from the purveyor, from the farm to the purveyor to the restaurant, and how that all works out. So that kind of helped our background, even after we've already done it for a while. You know what I'm saying? Like,
totally.
So that's about supporting local. I'm from Tucson, born and raised here, and I just love it so much. So with that said, I'm like, I just want to. If people are helping support us, let's help support the other local businesses here in town. So I try to partner as much as we possibly can. With right now, I'm doing a lot of things with schooling and trying to do, like, next week we're doing a teacher appreciation for Bobcat School.
Nice.
And we're going to offer them, we're giving them out coffee and donuts and croissants and our cold brew, regular hot coffee and cold brew coffee. And that's just kind of like a thank you. Teachers are great, or both our parents were teachers at some point. So.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, they don't get enough credit. So
they don't. It's our job.
And I mean, I think you make a really good point here. And I kind of want to ask this question again, because you've mentioned like how important, the community was in helping keep your business running during COVID, and also like your commitment to giving back to this community, as well as like sourcing meat from very close, within 55 miles. Like, that's superb, right? Like, I want to ask you, like, what are some other ways that you engage with the Tucson community, and why is local support so important to your business model?
I think local support just kind of helps us keep it going in business. If we are doing lots of marketing outside of Tucson, well, we're not going to see the return on it. So if we can do more things here, it does help. I love the Rotary group. That was one we had in Sierra Vista that would come every week on Monday. So we opened up just for them, and they would do their 40 people. We do a special menu for them. We just partnered with the Eastside Rotary group here. Nice. We did the Taste of Chocolate. And I told the gentleman there, I love it. It's fun. I don't mind engaging with you guys. And also, the people who are older than us, it's always something to learn. We don't think about it, but there's always stories to be told. And, so with that said, that's part of being part of the community aspect of it, and just being close and seeing what this area can hold for us. But that kind of answers your question a little bit.
I mean, yeah, I can definitely see how having a really strong like local community and interaction with the local community could really help for a restaurant in particular.
I guess just getting to know the local community, the people that are around here that do support us, and then trying to also, there's always somebody doing a group. So you want to try to engage with them and saying like, hey, the owner. Well, the owner also helps you. I do bartend here, when I need to, and helping with my employees, because my employees are also going to need extra time off.
Right.
So it's kind of being that face. I think when you said you've met the manager, you met Patrick. He was the one that came out. We don't have a manager. So it's him coming off the line to say, here's your burger and fries, because the employees are busy at a table, talking to them or getting their order and sent back. So he had a second to come off the line to do that,
Yeah.
That's where, it's like, I want to be the face of the company, but I also, my food's the face of the company at the end of the day. It's not just about me.
Totally.
But if you have a complaint, I'd rather you come to me and be like, hey, can we work it out and have it fixed correctly than to go on social media and complain about it. You know what I'm saying? So
totally
engaging with the guests and letting them know like, hey, we are here. We want to stay here. And we hope you enjoy your food. It's not just about you coming in and going one time. We want you to come all the time.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, like that return customer is so important, right? And again, that's like another great reason to provide such an excellent experience, to have such good communications too, between like the front and the back of the house. Like I have been in restaurants before where like I've heard some of the arguments like going in and out of the kitchen and that can feel a little weird at times. But like definitely, again, the atmosphere that you guys bring is really lovely. And so, this will lead to my next question for you is like, obviously I had a great experience, but in your words, what kind of dining experience do you aim to provide for guests? And how do you ensure that your team delivers on this vision consistently?
Oh, my vision is always to do like top level service, it's kind of like fine dining service, even in this like, classic American style, in the sense where it's just like, yes, I can just order your food that you want, but I always like to explain to you, and do you know what you're ordering? Do you have questions? Because a lot of the time, not even a lot of time, it's about 10% of the time, guests will walk in and they'll walk right back out. And I'm like, well, what did I do wrong that you don't want to sit down and dine?
Right.
And is it because you don't know what a pickled onion is or brie cheese is, and so you're getting thrown off? So we have to have those basics in there as well. So I always lead the conversation when I'm talking to a guest, even if I serve a guest, it's like, just so you know, since our food is made from scratch, a lot of things can be omitted. We're not making them. All the components are put together, but they're not put together on your burger or on your pasta until you order it. If you don't have the spinach in it, we can take out the spinach. For most times, if you don't have the mushrooms, we can take out the mushrooms.
Nice.
And we're having that fun, relaxing atmosphere, because coming and eating food, you're taking an opportunity. You don't have to choose to eat out.
It's true.
Right?
Yeah.
You can cook a meal for yourself at home. You can do fast food, but coming into a restaurant and dining is supposed to be a whole experience. Yeah. And you should enjoy it. And you should always say like, hey, I had the best time with just myself or with my girlfriend. I'm going to come back and bring my family coming into town. This is a place I want to go because I know I'm going to get a good quality food, and then the server's going to be nice and they're going to be engaging and I'm going to get to know them a little bit. So that I'm like, we had a girl in here that was really good. I actually have a gentleman named Wyatt that works here.
Nice.
He's great with that likes to interact with the bartender, with the other bar guests, and still get his job done. That's like what he needs to do. And making everything correctly. And I think that all matters,
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, building relationships is also such an important part of engaging your community and engaging like your customer base, right? Like, because it's not just coming back to just the restaurant for the delicious food, but it's also like you're coming back because you know these servers, your bartender, like the chef, and there are these people that you build a relationship with and that you want to come back to see and support. So
that's why I support local too, because I like to go to the other local places and they're like, hey, I'm a local too. Let's go back and forth, It's my money to spend into your business.
100%. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Howdy, listener. This is Connor. Thank you so much for listening to our episode today. If you find these interviews enriching, one of the easiest ways you can help this show is to leave a rating and a review. If you go into your podcast player, For Apple Podcasts, if you scroll beneath all of your episodes, you'll find a spot where you can rate and review. If you just click that and add a review, that helps others find these impactful episodes and hear the valuable insights of the people who are the heartbeat of the Tucson community. So if you have a moment, please do that. It really helps the show. It really helps me out. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for your support. Toodaloo.
So, I want to shift gears a little bit again, kind of talking about the food again. So, how do you approach menu development, especially when incorporating seasonal ingredients and introducing new dishes to keep the offerings fresh and exciting?
Well, that's my favorite part about it is eating the food, right?
Yeah.
So, normally, so right now we're working on, even though we're American, we're doing a Cinco de Mayo, and we had just done the Taste of Chocolate. We have done chocolate mole wings,
Ooh.
which if you have never had mole sauce, you're unsure of it. So it is definitely a Spanish dish.
Yeah.
But done well, it's really good. It's not getting a sweet chocolate. It's getting like more of a spiciness to that. And that flavors of chocolate that you get. So Patrick makes it from scratch.
Yeah.
He used to do a really good duck mole at Reforma years ago.
Yeah.
And he would still braise in his own duck fat.
Wow.
Calling it confit, which the first time I was learning about it was way back then.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite part about it. It's just more of saying like, hey, what do we have coming up and what are we going to do special for it? And then he'll come back at me and say, hey, this is my idea.
Yeah.
And then he'll either work up the idea and work it up on a Sunday with our kids, and we have a 7-year-old son, so we'll have him try it, and he'll say like, no, like thumbs up, thumbs down of it, but he's a 7-year-old, so he doesn't have the best so that's usually how it works. And then then he'll reconfigure like, hey, right now we're doing the brunch menu. We just finished that, and that was fun because we took home, he's doing croissant French toast.
Nice.
Which hearing that to me was like, I don't know about that, but do we want to bring in another piece of bread that we only use 3 days a week and you don't want it to go stale. So keeping it fresh. Totally. Well, we make bread pudding. We actually make it out of croissants.
Nice.
And so where the croissant French toast kind of works. So we tried it the first time. He made it 4 or 5 styles of it. He added whipped cream on top of it that he makes in house. And then he decided, let's do ice cream instead of whipped cream.
Nice.
So it's like when you have melted ice cream on something, you actually don't think about it, but it's, I can't think of the word right now, but it's really good as well. It's like caramel glaze or something. So that melted just a little bit on it, worked out, and that sweetness of like the vanilla on top worked out. And then instead of using cinnamon, he's using orange for those French toast, croissant French toast pancakes. So that's where development kind of happens. Usually happens at our home first, or it'll happen here at the restaurant.
Right.
And then he might tweak it a little bit. When it goes onto a menu, we'll do the menu development, which we'll lay it all out and he'll type it all up.
Yeah.
And then he throws it back to me and I'll design it all up and I'll send it back over to him and he'll put in the prices of things. Yeah. And then we kind of just like look over again and then we both just kind of scan through it. Making a menu usually takes from start to finish on a full restaurant menu takes us about 6 months.
Gotcha.
But if we start it with just one dish for a special, if we started doing, we did those when the mole wings are coming up. I told them that guests keep asking for soup. I'm all about chicken tortilla soup.
That's good stuff.
Sometimes I get my input in it. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes later on. We're doing our guests really like a mushroom bisque that he makes really well.
Okay, yeah.
So we're running a special right now with a soup, and it's a prime rib, wild mushroom, and ancient barley soup. So it's definitely a heavier one.
Right.
But that's kind of how our menu development goes. It usually kind of goes back and forth. We test things out.
Right.
And we take small bites. We're perfecting our donuts right now. And so with our donuts, we do we want to bake them or fry them up. And so it's like when you fry them, they're a little bit more oily and we didn't really want that. So baking them is a little bit better to get more of that cakey. Totally. So we put our house chocolate sauce on top of it. And we do one with chocolate and we do one with the sugar, cinnamon sugar, kind of like a snickerdoodle. That's what the donut tastes like.
Wow.
Yeah. So
sounds so good.
It goes back and forth, and then this doesn't work, and then he goes back and he cooks it again, or he might be really adamant about no, because I know this is going to work. Try it all together.
Yeah.
And that's where our desserts come into play. Desserts supposed to be the perfect bite. You try a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and put it all together on your spoon, and that's where you get. So our desserts are parfait up. So you have to eat when you put your spoon into it. You get all of it at one time.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, wow. That's so first, that sounds like so many delicious foods.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm getting hungry for sure. Yeah, and I think that's so interesting. It kind of like I like you mentioned earlier, like cooking is an art, and that's really cool to hear more about like the process of coming back and tweaking dishes and kind of like working on something in secret more or less, and then it's like ready to unveil and even work on it from there. So that's really fun. And with mentioning all of these delicious foods, I'm curious to know, like, what is one of your personal favorite dishes on the menu? And why does it hold such a special place for you?
My favorite is a flour chocolate torte because I think that I'm really healthy when I eat it. It's our dessert.
Yeah.
It's with our homemade whipped cream in there, and then the flour torte is like brownie, and that's one of my favorite things. And I'm just really love chocolate, so it has the chocolate ganache in that. Probably one of my favorites because when we first started doing it down in Sierra Vista, almost 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I had it, and we do our cold brew coffee in it as well. My little one, my 7-year-old at the time, he was in my belly. I took a couple bites of it, and he was just spinning around and kind of making me sick from it. So that's always like my comfort.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. I go more dessert type of it, but it just depends. I mean, I eat through the menu. I usually have a meal a day from here. But for the most part, I usually will stick to what the standards are because I like to promote it on our social media too. So people have to see what we're having.
Totally.
It depends on what move is. We have really good bakery, which I have not seen on anybody's menu. And I've traveled a lot. Yeah. And that one has our house-made apple butter.
Nice.
And so I tell the guests, like, as soon as it's kind of like you talk about pumpkin, and we launch it in September, for October, November, and January. And that's me. I'm like, okay, apple butter season.
Yeah.
Even though we have it all the time, I eat it probably the most during the months of October through January because it's unique.
Yeah. And I mean, it kind of like apple butter in general, from my opinion, definitely has those kind of like fall, warm, sort of like cinnamony type notes to it. So definitely great for, the cold weather that we experience here, as cold as it gets. So I want to shift gears again and talk a little bit more about Tandem American Eatery. What challenges have you faced since opening Tandem, and how have you adapted to overcome them?
Right. We don't have a huge challenge. I mean, right now, the challenge is like with everything just going up in price, it's not even just people are like, oh, it's just going to be food. It's not just the food in the day. It's the labor that went up, and it's been going up really fast since I started working. We've put a pause on it between that, rent, everything kind of combined, and we don't want to raise the prices too much.
Totally.
We could have done fine dining because that's where our food level is at. It's definitely doing fine dining, but it's also be able to have that time where Patrick doesn't need to be here every day to make it because no one cuts potatoes exactly the way that he does and his great knife skills. There's only so many people that are classically trained to do things correctly and care enough to do it. And that's what we really need. That's really the only challenge, is just trying to kind of keep going with everything going up. We're doing pretty well. We cut labor where we can. And then, we try to have happy employees. So I don't really like to have too much overturn. I try to make sure that my employees are here and they want to be here. And if they can't, they let me know so that I can cover. That's only the other benefit of Patrick and I both not just doing it for fun and thinking, oh, we're going to open a restaurant. It's like, no, we can serve the table. We can make the drinks, He can't do the drink so much, but he can learn it, Right. I can do the salads if I need to. I can make the desserts. I can drop things down in the fryer. I'm not classically trained, but I can go help out. And so if we had to, we both can step in and do the job and let the restaurant run. When COVID hit, it was him cooking all the food, me answering the phone, me packaging it up, me doing deliveries.
Yeah.
And not just having that team working where I think we benefit together. It's just the two of us, but we like to do it at the bigger scale. And that's where we're at right now, is running as a restaurant, with more employees.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of my clients is a restaurant leadership coach, and she definitely stresses the importance of having cross-trained employees, definitely helping. And I can totally see how that really helps, again, with a really collaborative space. And, I like what you said about trying to keep, turnover low, because obviously it's great having happy employees. It's great not having to retrain employees, but also I think it helps build that community. When you have less turnover, you have more familiar faces, and people love a familiar face, Right. So it totally makes sense to me.
I don't hire bartenders on to just bartend. I hire them on to be servers and have that, I don't allow them to come in, and the guy just applied the other day and he's like, well, I just want to bartend. I'm like, but you don't know about serving. You've skipped over that part of it. And I've learned from being a hostess, even being a busser, and going up that way and serving for 3 years before I could be a bartender and learning all about alcohol. There's so much information that most guests won't even see that you need to know, especially when we get popped and we get really busy.
Totally.
You know, so my bartender this morning, he'll be serving tables and hanging out, but then he'll be going behind the bar and making drinks for people. Totally. And so we always need to have that kind of going. That kind of still flows with our whole concept of Tandem. You know, we're all just going together and working. Everyone can kind of run this bike.
Nice. Yeah, totally. So I know I asked about challenges. Let's look at the other side of the coin, right? What's on the horizon for Tandem American Eatery that you'd like to share with our listeners?
We are doing, on the horizon right now, we are working with, like I said, we're doing the school event for teacher appreciation. And my goal next year would just kind of be reaching out to more of the schools in the community. Yeah. I do donations for Tinker Birdie High School, but hitting even the elementary schools here for that and making it more of a week for the teacher appreciation. I have an event on May 29th at Udall, which is for the senior event. Nice. We'll be passing out hibiscus iced tea out there and doing chicken salad sandwiches and our menus to kind of get more of the community involvement, but it's a pure donation.
Yeah.
For them. And then we're working on our brunch just launched. Our brunch is going Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11.
Great.
And then we're still closed on Sundays, so that can be our family day. And it's not just our family day, it's the employees' family day.
Yeah, totally.
And then we're working on our hot sauce and getting that into bottles and getting it sold because everyone says they really love it. It's between the hot sauce and now I'm hearing about, our ranch, our honey mustard. Yeah. So more things I can get out into the community, and sell to other businesses, that might benefit from it as well.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. That'd be so fun to make some bottled sauce as well. Yeah, that'd be a fun experience. And it sounds like, you're trying to engage the community even more and get out there more. So I guess I'm maybe jumping ahead a question, but I figure this really dovetails nicely. What events do you have coming up in the near future that people should keep an eye out for?
The newest event we have coming up is just going to be the one at the Udall Park for the senior event. That's when I have that you can come and enjoy and try our food out, which is on May 29th.
May 29th.
May 29th at Udall Park, which is down the way from us. I believe it's at 10 a.m.
Okay.
That's the closest event besides us just doing our brunch every day or, Thursday through Saturday.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. Great. And I guess following that question is for those who want to stay more in touch with Tandem and want to, hear more of your insights or just stay up to date with any events that are going on, where can folks go?
They can go to our website at www.tandemaz.com. You can also hit on our social media page at Tandem Eatery or Instagram. We try to do posts. Yeah. If you go right to our website, you can actually like us and then also add your email in, and then you'll get our weekly email blast out. And that will let you know what's going on. The closest we didn't mention, we have a paint and sip coming up here with Paint and Vino, which is on Thursday, the 5 to 8, which we normally do is on one side. We try to fill up that whole side where you get some drinks and some food and you get to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
I know in June and July, it's going to go to Wednesday. So you can do discounts on bottles of wine, which are 20% off, or glasses of wine are 20% off.
Nice.
That's what we're working with. We have another lady that likes to come in and do a book club. And so if you're looking to meet a friend, the first Wednesday of every month, they're in the bar area.
Nice.
A couple other ladies and gentlemen actually join and talk about not just the book they're reading, but all books. And it's a time to socialize, because it's hard when you get older to meet friends. And so that's kind of something that we're working on and getting kicked off a little bit more. Right now, it's about 5 people in the group.
Nice. Great. Well, folks listening, if you're interested, go ahead and check out the episode notes, and we're going to have all of Tandem's links in the episode notes. So again, just go ahead down there and go ahead and check it out. So Ayana, it's been great talking to you about Tandem Eatery, how you got started, the ways that you bring commitment and excellent service and excellent ingredients to the Tucson community. But before I can let you go, I have to ask you one more question. And it's the question I ask everybody who walks through these proverbial doors. What is one thing out of the many that you love about Tucson?
Oh, the scenery. I love hiking. That's the best part about Tucson. The sunsets. I mean, you can't compare the sunsets from here to Hawaii, and ours are just great. I can't.
I have to agree with you.
Yeah, every year on my birthday, I usually get up and watch the sunrise. I'll get on my roof and I'll watch it. And I've been doing that for over 20 years. That's usually my favorite thing. But I usually just like to get up early and get on the hike and just watch the sunrise or the sunset for the day and just kind of woosah off. So.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite hiking trail?
I don't.
Yeah.
I did Topino Canyon a lot because I trained for the Grand Canyon. That's more in Arizona, but I did rim to rim, and that was actually a very good experience.
Nice.
A lot of our guests will go up to Mount Lemmon and do hiking trails up there, and they come down. And we had a great time. So.
Yeah, totally. You guys are in a great spot for that like post hiking location for sure. And on that note as well, can you share your address with us?
Yes, it's 8864 East Tinkerverde. We're on Tinkerverde and Bear Canyon.
Great. And folks, again, I'm going to have the address too in the episode notes, so you can go ahead and check out the episode notes and find them there. Well, Ayana, again, thank you so much for coming on to the show. I really appreciate it.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate your time and you telling us about your story and what y'all do.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
And
until next time, toodaloo.
Bye.
And that's a wrap for another episode of T Lokes, your go-to podcast for uncovering the untold stories of Tucson's local businesses and nonprofits. A big thank you to our incredible listeners for joining us on this journey of connection and discovery. I want to extend a huge thank you to Ayana Malarchik for coming on the show today. Funny enough, this is the first restaurant episode that I've had yet on this podcast. So thank you so much, Ayana, for coming onto the show and talking to us about Tandem American Eatery, the passion behind the food, your commitment to quality ingredients, and your commitment to community as well. So thank you so much for coming on the show. And folks, go ahead and check out those episode links and go check out Tandem. A big thank you to Louis Sanders from Sound Monk Studios for composing the awesome T Lokes theme music. If you enjoyed today's episode and want to stay connected with Tucson's vibrant business scene, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback is invaluable, and it helps us continue bringing you engaging conversations. As we wrap up, remember that T Lokes isn't just a podcast, it's a community. Let's keep the conversation going on social media. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or our Discord channel and share your thoughts, suggestions, or even recommend a local business or nonprofit you'd like to see featured on the show. Thank you once again for being a part of the T Lokes community. Until next time, stay connected, stay inspired, and keep supporting the heartbeat of Tucson. Toodaloo.